Welcome to Warhead Junction! We got a best of 5. We are in the winner bracket semi-final now. And we got Washed Wurst against the Harem. Okay, so as I already explained in one of the previous games, now first and foremost, if you haven't watched any of the matches in this tournament yet, pretty much what we're doing here, we've added all the shitty maps, the glorious maps to the map pool, which means that we have Warhead, we have Shitamura, we got Blackheart's Bay, we got Mines, Haunted Mines, and we have Praxis. Praxis is the most normal map in the map pool. And it's a little bit of a light-hearted end-of-the-year tournament with a €900 prize pool, and it's fully community-funded. So as I said already, in the past, we have, of course, still the Save HOTS initiative going strong. That's being used to finance a lot of tournaments like this and other things that we're doing for the community here. If you guys are interested in contributing, if you're watching on YouTube, check out the Patreon link in the description. Everything that goes over a certain threshold is going to be used for tournaments, and if you are watching this on Twitch right now, you can use !Patreon in the chat and it's going to give you a link right away. But that's what we're trying to do in the future, create more tournaments like this, have a couple of fun events. There's obviously always MAPness itself. This is MAPness. Yes, we just couldn't come up with a better name. It's sad and funny at the same time. But now we're heading into Warhead, and well, this is something that we haven't really seen here today. But with the two teams, I also have to quickly just throw this out. So first and foremost, some teams just melted together. There's a couple of players that couldn't make it because we're closing in on Christmas, and even now, the weekends before, they still have some family obligations. Couldn't make it, and so we have just teams banding together. Nagrom is also playing with a couple of friends here, so the Frenchies, I would assume that the rest of them is the Harem and Nagrom is the leader here. I don't really know, but when you look at the Washed Wurst, obviously we got quite a lot of Germans going straight forward again. So they were successful in the first round of the event. We have 8 teams in total, and it's a double elimination system, meaning that we have a losers bracket. We got Overwatch heroes targeted right away from the team in red, Brightwing Murden as the first ones. And the entire time, whenever I'm looking at these games, when we had Haunted Mines earlier, when we had Blackheart's Bay, I'm kind of looking at this a little bit and thinking like, what about some crazy-ass heroes that he could play here too? Now, also, by the way, since the map pool consists of 5 maps, it means that for best of 5, there's obviously no map bans. So if this goes the distance, then we're seeing all of those maps. But in order to make sure that even if there are more one-sided games, we are guaranteed to see a couple of the maps that are not really in the traditional map pool, we also made it so that every single round has a certain starting map. So in the first round of the winner bracket, we had Haunted Mines as the starting map. Now we have Warhead Junction. Later on, we're going to get also Blackheart's Bay, which was kind of fun with the doubloons earlier, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's going to be nice. Tyrael gets banned, and we have Lucio plus Hanzo. So that's actually a pretty good lineup already for the Wurst boys over here. This is bit annoying. If you have someone like Lucio that can speed the team up, the bigger the map, the more impactful he can be. And I think that's something that they're going to try and do here now. I wonder if we're going to see a Greymane maybe even. These Lucio compositions can be very annoying when you have anyone that can push structures down quickly together with Lucio. And he can just rotate around together with him and just like take towers down, annihilate gates. I'll do even more work here. But alright, red team has to pick. So what are they going to go for? Seems like Nagrom is not necessarily playing the tank today. So far, at least it's anyone who has locked that in. And oh, it's hammer time against the Germans. Ooh, that's a bit dicey. We get a tank from the French. Do you guys know why French tanks have a rearview mirror? It's so that they can see the front in battle. Yeah, so Nagrom apparently with a French tank. But yeah, Sergeant Hammer. Alright, and we get also Dehaka together with it. That's the second global that they have. And, well, let's go. Falstad. Okay, so we're going to get some global pressure on the blue team side too. They want to counterplay this a little bit. But yeah, so Jojo plus Falstad for the final 2 picks on the side of the Washed Wurst. And let's go for the final pick for the Harem. What's it gonna be? They're pretty shitty at harms, by the way. The only grill on the right side is currently Sergeant Hammer. So I don't think they understood the concept. There's probably some story behind that team name that I'm not privy to yet. Maybe later on we're gonna double check that with them. But Junkrat is the final pick, so let's go. Warhead Junction, everybody. Game number 1 in the best of 5 series here. The winner bracket semi-final of MAPness. Great name, I know. Game number 1 in the best of 5, and on the left we got the worst boys with Hazu on Hanzo. Simply is playing Johanna, we got Ultralisk on Falstad, Yasu on Lucio, and Nick is playing Hogger. And yes, that's Nick. On the right side of the map, Nagrom with Sergeant Hammer. Paganox is playing Dehaka. We got Berserkade on Junkrat, anyone on Murden, and Guilty Spark with Brightwing in game number 1 of the best of 5 series. Alright, let's rock and roll. Who is gonna take the lead in this one? Who is gonna be able to move on to the winner bracket final? Should be a pretty fun one. Honestly, I was very surprised in the first round how close all of the games were. We saw, I mean, most of the maps that I really wanted to see already. And not only did they really go for those off maps, but at the same time the games were just continuous back and forth. It was super fun to witness that. So if we're going to experience the same thing here, that would just be fantastic. But yeah, either way, right now, what we have is Falstad in a bit of trouble. Is able to get out there. Obviously, no Warheads up on the map just yet, but the poke still continues. And yes, Nagrom is actually going for the damage here. So we're going to see what he can... A man of many talents. A man of many talents for sure. He played the healer when he played with his boys, with Team WA in February at the international event in Miami, and normally plays the tank. Now he plays the damage. So yeah, a man of many talents indeed. I mean, as someone with a long career in multiple professions, I can absolutely sympathize with him. I mean, personally, I have a lot of experience, of course, working as a policeman, as a fireman, as an astronaut, as a real estate agent, a doctor, a pizza delivery boy. I mean, the list is endless, but I can totally sympathize here with Nagrom. If you have this, if you're so talented and you have such a wide spectrum of things that you can do, then you can always adapt and be a little bit more flexible here, and you gotta really appreciate that on a player. So he can really help the team out and now make all of this work. Already destroying some of the towers here at the bottom of the map. Gets a bit of a support, of course, with Brightwing, but yeah, that's what we're gonna get there. Top right, Paganox, he's going to go for the next camp. Over on the left is already Lucio, not only taking control of vision, but also attempting to be as annoying as possible, with success as usual. I mean, Lucio is definitely one of the most annoying heroes in the game. Most of the annoying heroes in the game are Overwatch heroes. Coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so. So they are even trying to invade that camp a little bit. I mean, Falstad could fly in if they really wanted to, would make it a 3 versus 3. I don't think that they're going to go that far, but they're definitely attempting to piss them off a bit. It doesn't change the fact, though, that they just took that camp and there's no counter pressure here. By the way, just to point this out earlier, this one also got taken by the red team. So they were able to sneak that one in as well. It's a little bit of an annoying one, but at the bottom of the map, at least the blue team heavily successful as they are trying to come in time and time again with another little play for structures. And it's working out nicely. Now we got the Warheads available on the map now, so it's time to just try and nuke the shit out of someone. But for now, it's just a bit of a grab attempt here. And at the top, Dehaka, he's very much so alone. So he needs to be careful. Already we got one nuke at least, and that one's on Junkrat. Bottom of the map, Sergeant Hammer was taken out, and Brightwing also. Brightwing deaded. So the Fruit Fly got eliminated, as did Sergeant Hammer. Blue team has a bit of a lead here now, and is trying to get control. 3 of the Warheads are still up on the map and up for grabs. They are attempting to get the one at the top left and still fighting for the one down here at the bottom right, at the bottom of the map as well. Hasn't quite worked out for them just yet, but seems like Hazu is going to grab this one eventually. Yeah, they're actually trying to get a kill on the Hakan. Wow, that was close. Brightwing, in the last moment possible, finally coming in and able to help out. Well, this could have been a kill for the blue team. Would have been their third here. And in the middle of the map, they're also still super busy, making sure that Ultralisk is keeping an eye on this one. We haven't really seen any of it used yet, but 2 of the Warheads are still available and they're continuing to fight for it. And after it looked really good for the blue team for a long time, it's actually the Harem who is able to lock it in. Now, Junction gets killed. This is a bit unfortunate for him. Ultralisk won't be able to move in here anytime soon for it. But yeah, good kill regardless. And they are now also pulling ahead in experience. So the washed Wurst is getting in a really good spot here. Now at the bottom of them, making another play for Nagrom. Ultralisk, damn! Really putting the hurt onto Sergeant Hammer. Hazobs with another channel. First shot already fired, so they're trying to target the structures in the front. Even Junkwet is running into this one. Dumm gelaufen, that's what we call that. So, yeah. What concerns me a little bit more than the amount of nukes that we have on the blue team side is really how very quickly they established an experience lead that could end up with level 10 in their hands. They could make some serious plays around this. So right now, bot lane, we got Yasu still zipping in, out, trying to claim vision, trying to annoy the opponent, just scouting a little bit. And anyone is not having a lot of fun there. He's trying to hit one Stormbolt after another, but they just simply don't connect the way that he wants to. Now we got level 10, that's a blessed shield. And if Nagrom didn't already move out of the fight, I'm pretty sure Jojo would have followed up with a stun and maybe even gotten a kill for them. Hanzo with an arrow can also capitalize on this, if they get an opportunity there. 3 kills to 0, and well, there it is. They get the stun and they get the kill. Goodbye, Sergeant Hammer. Kill number 4 for the Wurst. And that is bad news for the Harem. They need level 10 and they need it desperately. And until then, it's still more than half the level that they gotta soak. Horga is attacking the top lane. The rest of the blue team is busy at the bottom of the map, going for structures and trying to take down the fort here. If they can also get Ultralisk in a good position and at the right angle, he could even use the Gust to maybe put them in the corner and get another kill. But even if he just holds it back, they can always disengage when the move is coming for them. Now as the game continues, Sergeant Hammer is obviously going to get a little bit stronger as well. But already the mobility is there and it didn't really help Nagrom. Now the ult against, yeah, careful. Muradin is down at the bottom of the map, up here at the top. Can I get another one? No, the Haka is still alive. But now they're coming in with another nuke, and the blue team is just ruthlessly exploiting that advantage that they had in a 5 versus 4 situation. Even with the red team looking at level 10 abilities, they can still pressure them. That's exactly what they're doing here. Riptire comes out. Oh, and that failed. Ah, boy. That was a little bit embarrassing. Yeah, about as embarrassing as Trump's NFT cards. Wasn't that a meme? But not a good look. So 5 kills to 0. And all the way up to the top, still holding on to the entire wall. That's a pretty good play here by Nick. The entire wall is still intact, so nothing has been destroyed there. Now we have Ultralisk sitting mid lane. We got all the way at the top left, another camp about to be taken. And just generally speaking, things are flowing for the blue team. Now, 5 kills to 0, 1.5 levels ahead. I mean, damn son. They are crushing this right now. What the Harem needs is they need to really... Oh, the fly, the hit, and the kill. Yeah, get soloed, baby. Even Horga is down, but a sexy play here by Falstad. Now, I should put something into perspective here. I don't really know if he followed through with it, but Nagrom actually asked me if it was okay for him to sign up for the tournament with some real-life friends. So I don't know if everybody that plays for them, I mean, there's obviously a couple of names that you will recognize, Gildy, Spark, and anyone being 2 of them. But I don't know if those are real-life buddies of him that just came in here, or if they swapped some people out or not. Either way, that is probably, or could well be a thing here. But just give you a bit of an idea, that kill was pretty sexy. Flying in like Ultralisk did, surprising Junkrat and then punishing him. That was obviously pretty cool. So he gets the kill here. In the meantime, we had at least one hero killed on the side of the blue team. So the Harem, they have one kill on the scoreboard now, but they're still very heavily behind. There's that gust opportunity. The arrow going far and wide, so narrowly missing the targets here. As they are going for the rest of the team though, and Muradin, even with the hop out and the avatar, he's in a bit of trouble. There's already the new coming down. They're trying to get some structures destroyed after they already dropped one fort at the bottom of the map. But level 13 talents are at least available for the Harem here. So, yeah, here we go. Nicely done and well played. I mean, still a 1-level lead. The one structure destroyed is not playing that much of a role yet, but I think it will pretty soon. The early game kills obviously also, they help and they allow you to get some more map control and pull ahead, but it's not like one team fight can bridge that gap. One team fight victory, but they just gotta get there first, and that's gonna be the rough part. Hogger is the one that died, so yeah, Nick went down early, and Hazorps nearly got murdered by that BFG here. Nagrom with a very, very nice connect. And, well, currently in the mid lane, some additional pressure from Ultralisk, really using the global as best as he can to apply macro pressure, and it nearly resulted in another fort being destroyed. And once that you have all of the outer structures destroyed, you get a lot more control. But talking about control, Ultralisk, damn! Nice gust! Junkrat died, killed by Hanzo, and at the same time Ultralisk survives that gank of Brightwing and Dehaka. He nearly fell, the chicken nearly got plucked there, but he was able to barrel roll away, and the shield and then the gust kept him alive. So very well done. That was pretty sexy. So either way, by now we got all the way at the top another chase happening. Oh, and Muradin interrupted on the jump. Brightwing is able to get out for a moment, but Nick follows up with a Hoarder pull, gets the kill on the Fruit Fly. Stormbolt well connected, but Muradin is still in trouble, trying to jump out again. But they nearly got him. He makes it out though. They were switching targets, hoping for a kill on Nagrom, but it didn't quite come to pass. They have that level 16 talent advantage though, and now that the Warheads are being deployed again, they are of course in a fantastic spot to grab the majority and then go for some additional structural damage. The outer ring of defense is nearly busted down, the wall is already gone, and now with the minion wave coming in, they're going for the top fort. Junkrat, he's getting caught again, and yeah, he's definitely a bit out of this depth here. It's obviously a strong team that we have on the left side. And they are coming in again with another kill. Muradin is dead. Beautiful BFG here from Nagrom. Did tons of damage, but that doesn't mean anything if you're not able to get the kill. And as you can tell, Lucio is healing that damage out very quickly. And now the boss is wide open, so they can easily go for the one at the top, and that's exactly what they're doing. So they locked that in within seconds, and that is big issue for at least the top lane. I mean, there's bot lane pressure now too that they could try to utilize here. I guess they will get the fort, but with Brightwing dying and the boss moving in, if they want to... Oh, Jesus, they're getting another camp too. Boy, oh boy, this is getting worse by the second. Not only is the boss traveling through the top lane, but they're coming in with nukes and with the boss on top of that as well. So, yeah, that is going to hurt. Dehaka escorts another minion wave in at the bottom of the map, and they're going to get that fort, but I think they will have to sacrifice the keep for it. The Riptire is trying to take a few of those minions out and limit what... Nah, no way. No way. I was about to say limit the damage as best as they can, but it's just impossible to save that keep. The keep is gone, 11 kills to 1. Junkrat dies again. He died 5 times in this game. As I said, he's a little bit out of his depth here. Nagrom falls, so does Dehaka. That's 3 heroes down. The core is wide open, and with 13 minutes on the clock, it seems that the Washed Wurst is going immediately for the victory here on Warhead Junction. Nicely done and well played. So a first victory in this best of 5 for the blue team as they are taking the lead against the Harem. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Game number 2, Barax's Holdout, everybody. The washed Wurst against the Harem. And a 1-0 lead for the blue team. To be fair, you would expect that. I mean, it's a very, very strong mix that we're having over on the left side of the equation, and they have taken the lead as they should. They are clearly the favorite in this best of 5 series here at MAPness, so let's see how far they can go with this. There was also the question that came up, but just in case that this wasn't clear after what happened in the previous series and right now too, this is still normal draft picks, so this is not MAPness. We are really focusing on just having maps in the pool that normally wouldn't be played and making this a bit of a lighthearted event towards the end of the year, but this is not MAPness, so the pick patterns for the teams and what they are allowed to choose from is still the same. We're definitely going to have another MAPness next year, that's at least the plan, and we're going to work around that, but just so that you guys are in the clear here if there was some confusion around this. Now we get a ban on Samura, which I actually find kind of sad, because every time that one of those out of the box heroes gets banned, it's like, ah, damn it, I could have actually seen that. So it's not really the case here. But now that we have Sylvanas taken right from the start, let's see if they can maybe establish a bit of momentum and then carry that into the heart of the opponent's team there. So yeah, time will tell. But for now, the blue team, the clear favorite, we'll see what they can pull off here. We are guaranteed to have a third map, of course, and as I said previously, there's only 5 maps in the map pool. So we already saw Warhead Junction in this one, Barax's Holdout is being played right now, and that leaves us for after the second map, that leaves us with Haunted Mines, with Blackheart's Bay, and with Hadamura, which we haven't seen yet. But given all of the maps in the pool, I would also, I gotta say, it's one of the maps that I'm not that excited about. Blackhearts is kind of fun, and so is Haunted Mines, so we'll see what they can do there. For now, we got Anduin, Guilty Spark is in, we got a new Barax, so they can go for a light bomb engage, even if they want to here. We got Stukov and Hanzo on the other side. The Admiral is already in the house, and I kind of love how, I mean, the problem if you're going up against the blue team is like, what do you ban, right? There's so much to ban. First of all, against Nick alone, you already want to ban like 3-4 heroes at least. Then you're looking at Ultralisk, and you're like, God, no, what are we going to do against him? So there's so many players that have just some heroes that they're very known for that you want to eliminate, and you just can't because there's only 2 maps initially available to you. Then you also have Yasuo, and you would like to ban out some of his supports as well, but it's just absolutely impossible. So definitely a tricky job here for the red team. But they have already a comp set up that can allow them to dive deep and try and get kills. And it's also a little bit playing into what I explained in the previous series, where on Braxis you normally want to have mobility so that you can cross terrain quickly and help out on other lanes. Now that's something where Junkrat, who was banned, Hynexels, Maiev, and of course also Genji are very good at it too, especially Genji. But that's one of the main reasons why they were banned out here. Now, for the side lane, you still need one strong character. You need one strong hero that can hold that lane. We've seen Urellen play a bit earlier. You can always go for Blaze. There were, of course, times where Rexa was absolutely shining in that role, and he can get a lot of control over this. But they go for Artanis! Alright. Nick with Artanis. I honestly find that Artanis is a hero that is should only be allowed to pick when you're going up against an opponent that is absolutely on your level. On the same skill level. Because every single time that they break that rule, then we have all the people, all the Artanis fans crawling out of their holes, and it will be Viable, Viable. And yeah, no, he's not. What the hell is this? Nagrom with Kel'Thuzad, and we get Rexa? Oh boy, this is gonna be rough, isn't it? I don't think they understood the rules. This is MAPness, not MAPness. I think there is a little bit of confusion. What? Kel'Thuzad? The Rexa pick I get. I mean, I talked about it a second ago, but Kel'Thuzad? That's wild. Alright, he's insanely squishy. That's a huge problem. And here comes Ultralisk with Medivh. Yeah, have fun, Nagrom. Have fun. This is gonna be crazy. Barax's Holdout, guys. It's map number 2 in the best of 5, but it's already getting wild here. So let's jump in and see which team takes it. The lead so far for the blue team. Let's find out if the Harem can put a point onto the board here. Brexis holdout! The Wurst against the Harem. Hazops on Hanzo, simply on Muradin. Yasuo on Stukov. Ultralisk with Medivh, so he's gonna portal it up a bit for us. And Nick is playing Artanis, whereas the Harem decided to put Nagrom onto Kel'Thuzad. We got Pudgenox on Rexa, Guilty Spark on Anduin, Berserkade on Sylvanas, and Nubrak on anyone. Every single time I look at Berserkade, I'm actually thinking in my head it's like Bizarre Code, like some kind of pun on barcode. I don't know why you would pun that. I also don't know how you would do it, but every single time I see the nickname written out, this is what my brain jumps to. Not quite sure why that is though. But yeah, either way, on level 1 we now have Protector of Ire, an absolute horseshit talent that is insanely useless. When I first saw that talent, I was a little bit excited because back at that time, we did cast a lot of ARAMs, a lot of brawls, and I thought, well, that is actually a great brawl talent because you are fighting the entire time, you can get a lot of stacks, and that will eventually turn Artanis into an absolute killing machine. And boy, was I wrong. Now, I gotta admit that maybe him going up against Misha changes this a little bit. I mean, if there was ever somebody that you could get free stacks against, then it's probably Misha. So maybe that changes that slightly. Artanis the counter pick against Rexa? I guess we'll find out, but that might make it interesting. But yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed over how many stacks you actually need in order to have a proper impact with Artanis in the late game. So, yeah, I think they could really buff that talent a little bit. I mean, it's obviously not going to happen now, but this is something that they could have done at some point, but they just tweaked the numbers a little bit. This is probably one of the things that pisses me off a lot, or the most, with Blizzard's balancing. For all of the years of HGC, one of the things that pro players in particular have told them over and over again, it's like, guys, stop with these shitty reworks, where you're just changing a hero completely, making him either OP or useless, and instead just what you should do, as we're getting one hero killed after another here, I mean, damn, not wasting any time. But what you should do instead is just tweak numbers a little bit. Just make heroes that are not played enough a little bit stronger, tweak the numbers slightly, and do it just to an extent where players are all of a sudden interested in playing those characters again. And you can do that incrementally. And they always refuse to do that. There was one period just after they killed HGC where they did that, I believe, for half a year. And it was one of the best times. And all of a sudden you saw heroes pop up again that before that would not really be played. But because of those small stat changes or talent changes in regards to how much damage they would do, those heroes became interesting again. So, yeah. It was kind of wild. I mean, Blizzard, again, they were never one to listen, which was a little bit sad, but there were so many things that could have been done back in the day to, yeah, just make things better. Talking about better, it seems like the blue team is really just the better team here, and this is something that we already suspected in game number 1. I talked a little bit about how they are the clear favorite. They are one of the strongest teams that signed up for the tournament here, and it is very evident as well in this second game. 5 kills to 1. Kel'Thuzad getting attacked, and he's low already. But even if they can't get the kill, it's already 96% towards the objective. Nagrom goes down, killed by Medivh to add insult to injury, and Medivh is currently ramping up the stacks on the baseline. Nick with a glorious swap that nearly results in his death and is only prevented by a portal being set up right away and, well, Medivh being around. He is at 101 stacks on his level 1 on the other hand, so by now, I mean, this is an insane amount of damage. No, I'm just kidding, he's still useless. 6 kills to 1. We're waiting for those quad swaps so that Nick can just show those off, but with, of course, such a big gap in how strong these Zerg waves are, they are going for the big move. Artanis still alive though, so good for him. Yasuo at this point also a little bit low, but they are easily taking down the first fort, and with a portal they can dive again, and they do. They're going for Sylvanas. Hazu, did he just have 2 hit points? Did I see that right? Hazu survives, gets healed here, but that was definitely a very close call, so a lot of trust in the support. Now that we have Sylvanas eliminated and Misha killed too, they are going for the wall at the keep, and they are just absolutely crushing the Harem. I mean, 7 kills to 1, a level 7 talent to boot as they're breaking through with this. The top wall is taken down. 12,000 damage for Hanzo. We have 12,000 also for Khaldor. I mean, at least that. But I gotta admit that also the pick into Medivh made things, of course, incredibly difficult for the red team. Not only because so much damage and so many kills can be stopped and so many kills can be prevented by Medivh, but also because they can now jump on Rexa, on Khaldor, over and over again whenever they want to. We got level 8 against level 7, so yeah, it's tough, it's tough. Now, Nick, he's stacking. You gotta give it to him. He is using Misha as a bit of a punching ball and is getting his stacks together here. So if this is actually going to be a game that ends up in a late game scenario, which at this point I kind of doubt a bit, then maybe, you know, he's going to get some serious damage out. We now got the barbed chains in, the armor of the Arc Lich, and the chilling touch for Khaldor. But yeah, Mirrodin is also in play. There's also not a lot of damage competition, honestly, on the side of the blue team. Hanzo obviously being the one that you would expect to walk away with the top numbers there. But for that, first of all, he has to join the fun. They are getting a kill on a Rexa. So goodbye, old friend. He's down. And it's the entire team that is making their moves now, with the bot lane being attacked. I would have not... honestly, I thought they would just go for maybe even the keep. But there's no minion wave that comes with them, so they couldn't really do anything there. Instead, they're jumping into the team fight with a quick portal rotation. They're speeding it up, hoping to cut the team off. Not quite able to do it, but at least pushing them away from the fort itself. So their own fort is now down to 50% HP. But yeah, still totally fine. Now, Artanis nearly at 200 stacks. Getting closer there at least. Beacons are activating once again, and of course the real party starts when we have level 10 in. And I feel a bit sorry for the red team, because that's going to be a 1.5 level lead that they got to bridge there, and I have no idea how they're going to do that without losing, I mean, at least a fort, probably more than that. Already Nagrom gets attacked again. It's exactly what I talked about earlier. Those portals are ruthless right now. You can't do anything as Khaldor if your opponent gets onto you. You have just no hit points. And with the portal plays from Ultralist, they're getting these hits in time and time again. Now Anduin and Sylvanas have also been dropped, and they're coming through with another move onto... yeah, well, Rexa mostly, but they're even looking at Anubarak now and nearly get a kill on him too. So diving far behind the fort, no repercussions possible even. Nick is still stacking it up. 19,000 damage by now for Hanzo. We got 15,000, at least 16,000 for Artanis, 18,000 for... I mean, Artanis has a little bit more damage than Stukov at least, but it's not much. They get another kill here. And talking about Stukov, he's down. Artanis is stacking it up a bit further. Hanzo is coming back into the fight. Was missing out on most of this, which actually allowed Artanis for a brief period to take over the damage numbers. But Nick goes down. Nick being killed. Easy report right there. Seems like... ooh, is he getting away? Yeah, Ultralisk is getting away. Alright. I mean, he already completed his quest, so it didn't really matter too much. What matters a little bit is that the keep at the top lane is taking damage, and finally level 10 is there for the Harem. So this next Zerg wave is already underway, but we now got the Shadow Fissure, and we got the Light Bomb over here. Mirrodin is not back yet, so they can't really jump out too far here. 250 stacks for Artanis. And by the way, if you were interested, yes, his damage still sucks. This talent makes me a little bit angry, I gotta say. It's a little bit similar to what we have with Artanis stacking his D. Because when he stacks his trade damage, he's in a similar spot. He just doesn't do enough to make him into a viable damage bruiser in that role. And that's something that Blizzard could have easily changed at some point by just increasing the damage by 1 or 2 and see if that maybe makes it a little bit more viable as a talent choice. But unfortunately, that's not really the case. So 14 kills against 4. They're coming in for a kill on Misha. They're moving through the bot lane right now. 28,000 damage at this point in time for our boy Hanzo. 21,000 for Nagrom with Khaldor. And also, of course, oh, big arrow. And yeah, that one did nothing. Okay. So, And Uberak likely gonna get killed now. These portal plays are just a little bit too strong for him to handle. They let him go for some reason. They dove back to take Sylvanas down, but that was an easy kill right there if they just stayed a bit longer. So apparently they were not quite sure who would come in for the final blow. Instead, it's all of a sudden Medivh that eats the damage and dies. And Nagrom is doing his best to keep his boys in play. And he's delivering damage. He's at 32,000 nearly. So his team is dying around him, but he's still able to get some damage through. It's just not enough to really make a big dent here. 16 kills, 2-5, and more plays are being made here, at least attempted. 29,000 damage for Medivh before he died. And yeah, at the top, I guess they can also burn this one down, but it's noteworthy that both of their keeps have already taken damage. So yeah, that's a little bit problematic. If both of their keeps are already down to half HP at the 10-minute mark, and you have lost both of your forts, then it's going to be very tricky to keep them in play throughout that game. But, well, there we go. Okay. While we have a little bit of a little moment, there's actually one thing that I want to say real quickly to people watching this, especially to the YouTube audience. If I follow an arrow and we miss a kill, I don't know how else to say this, but I don't give a fuck. I'm casting sometimes 10 hours in a row, and if every now and then I want to spice it up a little bit and meme an arrow, that's just what it is. And to the people that got always tilted enough to like post YouTube comments about it, you guys can piss off if you don't like it. So I try to make this clear in comments sometimes, but I think now that we had a bit of a break there, it's probably noteworthy to also make it clear in the commentary. If I want to have some fun here, being the only person that still organizes tournaments with that frequency and cast them, then I'm bloody well gonna do that. And if you don't like it, click the X at the top right and just leave. Like, it's actually kind of funny to me how some people get their panties in a twist about that. That was a little bit unlucky, by the way, because he wanted to go for the light room engage, light bomb engage, and then they get murdered right there. So, yeah, that's Sylvanas down, and they're also losing Khaldor again, so both of their main damage dealers are now gone. We have 39,000 damage by Nagrom, though. He's top damage! Nagrom is top damage! Khaldor viable, confirmed. Top damage in the game. We're only going to take the screenshot right now. And Uberak, then again, it's about to go down. Yeah, Sylvanas, 7 deaths on her. As I said in the first map already, he's a little bit outclassed here. But I mean, they won in the first round, so they must have done a decent job there. 21 kills, 2-5. And we have Medivh as the top damage dealer on the blue team side, and they are still farming. But they're losing Artanis again. I mean, of course they are. Who else? Artanis, the punching bag, is dead again. 23 kills to 7, 30 in total, more than 2 per minute. And with 16 on the board against level 14, I guess this is going to be the end of the road in game number 2 for the Harem. This is, of course, a best of 5 series, so it will continue after that. But the game might not even end here. Myrn is trying, and I guess Ultras could deliver a little bit more damage. Yeah, 3%. And there it is, the 2-0 lead for the Wurst. GG. Hanamura! First time in the tournament. Well, probably not true. First time that we have it in the tournament here on camera. So the Wurst with a 2-0. And we got the Harem trying to bring this one back. I'm kind of excited for this. I want to see what they're going to bust out now. Because after I've seen the Khaldor on the second map, I have absolutely zero doubts in my head that they are now going to try and bring something else in that could spice things up significantly. I've actually been mad at YouTube the other day. Like, a little bit mad. Because YouTube recommended in the search algorithm some clips from The Wire to me again. And I went to 2 or 3 of these clips and then I got myself hooked again. I was like, ah, yeah, that was awesome. And now I'm rewatching the series, but for what must have been the 8th time. It's kind of crazy. And oh my god, is that series good? Especially if compared to the trash that is now produced by Disney and Marvel and all of these companies as series, it's kind of disgusting. I think one of the best that they brought out recently is actually Andor. If you haven't watched Andor yet, do yourself a favor and check that one out. That one is actually a very, very good series, and I was really surprised by it because initially I didn't even want to watch it. I didn't watch Obi-Wan to the end. I didn't watch Book of Boba Fett because it was all just this usual generic crap that they throw out. And so I didn't really want to watch Andor in the first place. And then I watched the first and the second episode and I was like, wait a second, is this a good show? Do actions and their consequences matter in this universe? And I was like, wow. So yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, definitely a recommendation. Put it on your list. Always, of course, the question, would you like it if these other shitty shows didn't exist? And I honestly don't know. But given all the garbage that we're getting lately, that was one of the better ones. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. And for all of you crazy people that haven't watched The Wire, what the fuck have you been doing with your life? Watch it now. So, yeah. We have, for now, Lucio as the first pick, taking it away also from Yasu. But, well, Malfurion and Tyrael. Every single time I see a Tyrael picked by a team that runs Nick, alarm bells are going off everywhere, because you have to ask yourself, is this really going to be a main tank, or is he going to be side laner and going for just mad damage like he did during the Masters Clash? So, yeah, we got Lucio, we got Blaze, and we got Varian on the other side, which means that they're apparently trying to go in a bit of a kill comp. So you can come in with your taunt, you can come in with your jet propulsion, but you still need burst damage behind it. And I guess it's going to be Nagrom who runs it. Pretty curious to see who that is. I mean, you can always go into like a Grey main or whatnot, but given the way that this has been going in game number 2, might be a little bit more exciting than that. But yeah, so we get a ban on Cassia. Yeah, good luck banning something here. You still have Nick and... I mean, who do you ban? Okay, so they get rid of Sergeant Hammer. Get rid of the most annoying hero for now. I get that. If it's a Protect the Hammer composition with Tyrael, that's a bit of a pain. But, yeah, what else can they do? We have on the left side right now Ultralisk and Nick, both still waiting to pick a hero. So disgusting to ban against these guys. And they go for Suljin. Okay, so the trolling commences. We got Yasu with Yrel pick. I actually wonder if they're swapping heroes around, if Yasu wasn't just there when they started the draft, maybe it was in a bathroom break or whatever, or if they actually swap roles. I would assume that they're swapping the heroes around, and that he was just not there yet. But, yeah, on the right side, the double pick. What are we getting there? Mephisto Dalarak! Yeah, of course they don't disappoint. Of course they do not disappoint. And Alarak as a follow-up on all of these stuns can also be a bit disgusting, but Mephisto, pretty serious. Good damage, if played well. And, I mean, technically, if you're going for Durance of Fate, you have even more CC. So, the amount of CC that they're running here is very, very good. Last pick, Ultralisk. He comes in on Hanamura with Maiev. Oh boy, I feel a bit sorry for the harem. But yeah, we're heading straight into the first match point for Washed Wurst on Hanamura Temple. Game number 3. We got on the left side, Hazobs on Malfurion. We got Simply on Tyrael. Nick is playing Suljin, and yes, by the way, Hazobs is indeed playing Malfurion, so they did swap roles here. They put Yasu on Yrel this time, and we have Ultralisk on Maiev as expected. But especially in these drafts, there's always a chance that they're swapping the roles then afterwards. On the right side, we currently got Nagrom on Mephisto, Guilty Spark is playing Lucio, Pudge Nox is playing Blaze, we got Berserkade on Alarak, and anyone on Varian. So this C-Train is there. But, there's so many heroes to watch out for right now. First of all, Nick on Suljin is obviously kind of fun. But in addition to that, the combos that get unlocked as the game progresses for the Harem is they're pretty strong. There's a lot of wombos that they could execute here too. I am a little bit afraid though that they might be farmed before this is even a thing. And this is technically, I mean, this is a double kill already. Technically, this is the second match in the tournament, so guys, as I explained before, keep in mind, this is a little bit more of a lighthearted event here too, and the blue team is obviously stacked. I mean, if you don't know anything about European Heroes of the Storm right now, then I would still expect you to at least know the names of the players that we see on the blue team side. And yeah, they are super strong here. They're gonna do some work. So there's obviously the hope that the Harem can stack it up a little bit. but they are in trouble right from the get-go. We got the thingy, the Skull Missile build for Mephisto. And, well, the 1 versus 1 at the top lane is so far a little bit uneventful. It's always kind of fun seeing Yasuo or anyone in a bit of an unexpected role. But for Nick, it's now all about stacking. Trying to get to that 15 stacks cap first, that he has the extended range, which is going to make it so much easier for him throughout the rest of the game to get stacks in, to get to that 30, get the double swing on the Arcanite access if he goes for that on level 7. And they're getting another kill as they're dropping Alarak. So, yep, that is good news for Nick, good news for the blue team, pretty bad news for the Harem. They are getting a little bit closer to get their own kill though. Yasuo is very, very low. And the initial attempt to go for the Sentinel camp here is thwarted, but they also couldn't take over and take it down themselves. So, yeah. As it stands, another camp gets locked in easy, so they're pulling a little bit ahead here. The 3 kills also gave them a half-level advantage over the Harem, with Malfurion at the bottom of the map. Yeah, Hazu is firing it up here, trying to control the lane experience, as we have the rest of the team going for the Sentinel camp on the left side. With success, I might add, take that down, so drawing even with the red team here. But with that, the first payload is now spawning in 20 seconds. And what's more important, we have level 4, aka Taunt for Varian. Now things are getting a bit more interesting on their end too, but they still have to coordinate it, of course, around the Taunt and then hope for a Jet Propulsion Connect or Alarak to follow up, or anybody else, plus, of course, the necessary damage that you need there. If you, by the way, like these payload fights, one game, I was playing in a tournament just recently, in an influencer tournament with Dequaza, with Nagrom, and with Dainu, and we actually took second place against some former Battlerite pros and others. But there's a new game coming out that's currently in early development. It's free and you can get it on Steam. So if you want to check that out, the game is called Fangs, and the website is playfangs.com. And you win the game either by taking down the opponent's captain a couple of times, or by escorting a payload through. It's called a little bit differently, but if you're looking for a very brawl-heavy game that's a little bit in the Battlerite style, then you should definitely give that game a look. It has a lot of potential, definitely fun, so if you haven't seen it yet, it's free to play, playfangs.com, and that whole payload mechanic is really at the core of the entire game. So if you enjoy that in Hanamura, it's definitely something you should take a closer look at. Either way, jumping to the top now. Yasuo gets attacked here again, but is able to move out. And Nick is by now on 14 stacks, so again he's only 1 away from getting the range increase. And he went also for the Arcanite access. So he is going for the big swing to win here, and if he gets to 30, then he's going to get the double cleave. Hazu with a quick pause. I don't think that anybody dropped on the... Oh, actually, Ultralisk dropped. No. Don't tell me we are back to Ultralisk dropping all the time. Okay, he's back already. So I would assume that whatever the problem was, it's... yeah. He fixes interconnection, I know that. But maybe every now and then there's still a bit of a problem that occurs. Here's the CC train, by the way, so they could now try and go for a small version of it. The problem is that there's no level 7 talent for the Harem, so they're definitely behind in power spikes. And Nick is now turning it around with easy hits, that the range increases there. And is trying to inch a bit closer to the 30 so that he does double connect with those axes. And with the body blocking and the tether that we get from Maiev, Alarak just doesn't stand a chance. So a huge problem here. Maiev in the hands of Ultralisk is insane. So here it is. We got 17 stacks and the first fort about to be destroyed by the washed Wurst. And they are on their way to the winner bracket final. Yeah, if they are now getting another victory here, this is obviously match point number 1 for them. If they can go to the winner bracket final this quickly, that would be pretty sweet. There is a loser's bracket, so the Harem would drop down if they lose this map. And currently they would need a bit of a miracle in order to start a comeback in this best of 5. But we've seen some crazy plays. I mean, Skyline Cup in particular. If you haven't watched the Skyline Cup yet on YouTube, you should definitely look up those games. There were some comebacks that were absolutely unbelievable. So that was a fantastic and super entertaining tournament. But over here, Varian, he's barely making it out, but that fight is not over. Nagrom super low, and yeah, Malfurion is the one to put an end to him. coming in and moonfires his ass, so he's dead. With that said and done, we now have 5 kills to 0, 1.5 levels of an advantage for the Washed Wurst. And we've seen that before, even a trap with the bush now. And they're trying to go for another Alarak kill, and Alarak doesn't like that in the slightest. Yeah, he's not gonna make it, is he now? Yes, there it is, the hit. Well done by Nick, gotta give him that. And Nick is stacking, woo! We are 6 minutes in and he's at 24 stacks on the baseline. So, yeah, boy, oh boy. It's going to be an absolute nightmare for the Harem. 19,000 damage for him too. Very, I mean, heavily pulling ahead here from the opponent's team. Same is also true for Maiev, who's currently at 18k. So Ultralisk has apparently a little bit of a damage battle going on with Suljin. Payload has more or less been disregarded so far. It's actually one of the reasons why a lot of these maps that we have in the hero pool here have been removed from competitive play, because the objective can be safely ignored for large parts of the game. But at least so far we've seen quite a few fights here. Now, again, Lucio, he gets caught. It's crazy when you're going up against Ultralisk on his Maiev. If you step into the wrong direction just one time, you are getting crushed. And, yeah, well, we've seen that already a few times here. Had a couple of fantastic tethers that allowed them to get the kills. Blaze escapes, but they are already opening up the bot lane a little bit. And this is starting to get dangerous. Payload, by the way, Ultralisk is escorting it in at the top, so still doing some work with the objective. So they are going to get some damage, and Varian could not contest that. So the shots are immediately being fired here. So top lane pressure, in addition to what we're now seeing down at the bottom of the map. The level 10 ability, of course, plays a huge role here. If you don't have heroics, you just can't contest this. And this early experience lead that Washed Wurst established really, really helps him to get so much more dangerous and fully in the face of the red team and threaten them here. We have, for now, 30 stacks also, so the stacking is going to continue with those axes, and they are just crushing it. I mean, easy triple kill now with Nagrom going down towards the end of this. So Nagrom dead, it's 3 heroes eliminated, 10 kills to 0. In just a second we're going to get heroic abilities for the red team, but this might be too little too late. I mean, just check this fight out. They're diving in deep underneath the fort, sorry, the keep even. They take the keep out, and at the 8-minute mark there's already the entire bot lane demolished by them. So yeah, this is kind of crazy. But it's 10 kills to 0. We have level 13 coming up next. Top side, this fort is also fairly low, so down to, well, 30% HP. 21 stacks for the level 7, and, well, now apparently we have a bit of a problem on the side of the red team. Or do we? I mean, whatever it is, nobody dropped apparently, so I would assume normally it's just like some problems either on the peripherals of one of the players, or it's just on Discord that they have some voice issues. But either way, we got 33 stacks now for Suljin, and as already highlighted, he is at 27,000 damage right now. So he's starting to pull further and further ahead in damage, and as this continues, it's going to be even more pronounced because he's stacking up the stacks on his level 7 too. And Suljin in the late game, if he's properly stacked, is such a nightmare. I would have expected Nick to go into a potential buzzsaw, but he's not doing that. He's actually going full on tryhard with that build and making sure that he can't be taken out easily. What I'm still missing a bit is the synergy on the red team to get kills with what I explained earlier. They need to lead this with a taunt on Varian and then follow up on that with Durance of Hate, with the jet propulsion, with the combo on Alarak, and really drop the damage. And they have the tools to do that. They just don't get the engages that they want. They don't get the proper engage into those team fights. But here it is again, the attempt of them to make a bit of a play. Not really working out yet. The bunker baited out early, and the blue team is taking position around it. They want to go for another kill. Another hit. The CC is a bit limited, but still, they could. Also, noteworthy, haven't really talked about it yet, but in case you missed it, Urel actually changed her ult up a little bit and is going more for zone control than anything else, coming in with the Sacred Ground. Varian and Mephisto both dead. Nick is getting stack after stack, not only in the baseline, but also the level 7. And they are diving past the fort for the keep. trying to also get another one on Lucio. He's not the only one. Alarak went down. They nearly killed Nick, but he still had his ult available and could hit the button, so went straight up into the... And the only one that dies here is Yrel, reported! Yasuo, insta-report. Nick also reported. Both of them dead here. Ult being used. And, well, not able to get another kill. But that's at least 2. And they lost the top 4, but they barely saved the keep. I guess that's at least good news. So, yeah. Yrel dying here. That's the moment where you're thinking like, well, maybe you should have gone for the normal ult after all, not for the Sacred Ground. But of course, more and more damage now at the bot lane too, just done by catapults. Still very early in the game, so not stacking that hard. Not able to push it that badly, but the problem is also that with another objective here, if they go for the payload, yeah, that would do work now for the blue team. And they are currently trying their best to escort that in as quickly as possible. There's a talent advantage once again for the Washed Wurst. 40 stacks nearly for Suljin. Damage output reflects that, of course. Ultralisk is trying to keep up with it. But yep, here we are. So right now, bottom of the map, we still have the 5-man roaming around for the red team. They got their first 2 kills in the game. So once again, it's not a perfect game for Washed Wurst. We need to at least prevent that from happening, right? There's a level 13, so talents are evened out. But a 2-level discrepancy between the 2 teams and an advantage for the blue team that is pretty significant and leads to Suljin also just stacking further and further. I mean, these choke point scenarios are a nightmare because he's now at 43 stacks on the level 7, 41 on his level 1. The shots are now being fired. We already have the core being attacked by the Sentinel as well. Sacred Ground used by Yasuo. Not underneath the core though, but he definitely got chunked low a bit, so he kind of panicked there. But they're going in deep for a few more kills, and Yasuo dies again. But the core is now losing the shields and hit points since the top keep has been obliterated by those shots. And this might just be the end of the road in the winner bracket for the Harem. They're getting attacked time and time again here. Bot lane is the way to go. Catapults are already zoning in on the core itself, and now that they take the minions down, that will just continue. But we have the ult of Mephisto forcing them back a little bit. Yeah, also Nick died. I mean, he didn't even use his ult here, so a bit of a problem for him. Sanctification used. Could have maybe kept some of the boys alive. But they are losing everyone all of a sudden. MIF is dead too. 5 kills to 15. So 13% of the core hit points are gone on the red team side. But they are finally getting some kills in. Everybody died at least once now. So nicely done. They are trying to bring this back and they're not giving up. Clawing their way back inch by inch into this game. As we're now looking at 40,000 damage for Nagrom. Not too shabby. But of course he can't really hold a candle to either Maiev or Suljin. I mean, both of them are far exceeding what he can bring to the table right now. But again, we currently have the level 16 talent advantage for them, for the blue team. Okay, both now with 16. A little bit of an edge, a little bit of momentum for the Harem. But let's not forget that they haven't taken a single structure down yet. Yeah, that's the sad part here. Then again, could at least take the wall down, right? On the top side though, somebody will have to deal with that. 2 catapults. We're now 13, 14 minutes in. It's still early. They're not gonna take the core down right away. It's not like we're 20, 24 minutes in. But still, it will become a problem. Nice Sacred Ground here from Yasuo this time. This is definitely going to be much more important. Yeah, they're taking full control of this one. Sanctification is out as well. A kill against Blaze and Lucio to lead us off. They're taking down Varian too. Seems like Ultralisk is showing no mercy for Alarak, but he's able to get out. Nicely done. And the core, once again, undefended. And they can now make a play for game. They're trying to take Nagrom down, and of course they anticipate where he would bounce back to. They take him to the test, and yeah, well, it's just not enough. So nicely done by Washed Wurst, a 3-0 victory as they move on to the winner bracket final.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.